Welcome to Around the Kinky Campfire podcast. This is your host, the Cuddle Gigolo, aka El Comidon, aka Mango Boogies, but also known officially as H.H. Julius, your entertainment creative. I'm here with Miss Rue, our education guru, and our goal in this podcast is to destigmatize the taboo topics of kink, non-monogamy, and BDSM. We like to educate through awareness and with our experiences, and we are not certified professionals as of yet. So our non-judgmental topics, with a dash of facts, are to be taken mostly as entertainment and with, some slice of life anecdotal stories. Your opinions, lifestyles, and or way of thinking may not be in alignment with ours, but your opinion, lifestyle, way of thinking is also okay as well. And the fact that you have an opinion is valid. We're not here to change your minds. We are here just to provide a different point of view. Please join us every second and fourth Thursdays of every month, and our episodes are uploaded to all major platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, etc., etc. Please look forward to this coming episode, as we will start shortly, and make sure to especially pay attention to our ASR Minute, which will start very soon. We're back again. It is now close to the end. It's almost Halloween time. You're feeling spooky. I know this is your favorite season.
It is.
Yeah.
To get all scared
and
I love
everything.
horror movies.
Yeah.
I love them. I was
Jump
raised on them.
scares.
No, not being in them. I just like watching
you're ready
them.
to go to Halloween Horror
I
Nights.
will
and
not be going to Halloween Horror
Scream
Nights.
and all this scary stuff.
None of it.
We get you a little flashy light on there so they won't scare you. You gotta go
No,
there.
that just it attracts them. What are you talking about?
That means they can't scare you.
Yeah, in theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're recording, but a couple weeks ago, well, last weekend, this recent weekend, went to Hollow Scream.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fully in the Halloween spirit. Hopefully it continues to the point that this comes out. Got a few things going on. It's weird talking about the past that's the future. So at this point in time, listeners, campsters, I've gone through a pub crawl for that's Halloween weekend. Never mind. I'm about to go on a pub crawl. When is this going to come out? Hold on a second. Just talk amongst yourselves.
Wow.
Whenever you come in there. Yeah, so I will be going on my pub crawl tomorrow when this comes out. So I'm looking forward to that because it's Halloween weekend, and I'll be dressing up and going downtown to a pub crawl.
What are you dressing up for this week?
I don't know yet.
Still
don't know yet. I probably still won't know when this comes out. This is what we call a game time decision.
But you like dressing up. You live for this.
This is the problem. It's called neurodivergence. You give me too many options, I can't make a decision. Just like coming up with podcast topics. I have too many decisions. There's too much going on out there in the world. Okay. I read the websites and watch the videos and get on the Reddits, and it's like I want to talk about everything all at once. All at once.
All of it.
Yeah. So I need to. Speaking of fact, just like regular ho-hum boring news, I need to like organize all my costumes and like make like a binder so I know what I have, because every year I start pulling stuff out. It's like, oh yeah, I bought this like 5 years ago.
You are so special.
Yeah, because then I'll buy stuff on sale at the end of Halloween. I'm going to wear this next time, and that was like 5 years ago, and it's still like, oh, that's right, I was supposed to wear this.
I don't know that I've ever met somebody in person that has to organize their costumes.
Yes, I have to organize my costumes. Thank you
very much.
That's
a first for me.
I got to organize my costumes. I got to organize my skirts. I got to organize my rompers. I got to organize my kilts. I got to empty all my stuff out. So I've been losing weight, so I started getting all my skinny people clothes out, and I have to like literally get the dust and literal cockroaches off them because they've been in the back of the closet.
Oh my god!
I pulled a pair of shorts out that I hadn't worn in like 10 years. It was a cockroach, and I threw it on the ground. The cockroach exploded. That's how old the cockroach was.
I can't, guys. This is
she's facepalming right now.
Not what I signed up for.
So you gave me a surprise last episode.
Yeah.
I gave you a surprise this episode.
Surprise.
Yeah. So I've been telling everybody that story because it exploded. Oh God, that was so scary. And then it exploded, and I was like, okay, this is gross. I don't know what's worse, if cockroach exploding like that or squishing the cockroach and all the guts come out of it.
Okay, can we just go to the intro, please?
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
You want to talk about this stuff, though? This is good behind the scenes knowledge. Anyways, been losing the weight, so now I got to see what costumes fit.
Okay.
All right, so I'll keep you posted.
Thanks.
This is that was a great intro, but this is the bonfire.
Oh my gosh, just say it the right way.
It's Halloween time. It's very scary. I forgot to put our music on. We've been talking about our music on. They don't know that, but we do. Around the Kinky Campfire.
Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
You have such a relief look on your face. It's
so
good.
It's
okay.
nice.
So, who are you?
This is Rue.
And you want to guess who I am?
No, I don't.
I am the great and Jindy McFluffenstuff.
McFluffenstuff.
Yep, that's me. Jindy McFluffenstuff.
All
A.K.A.
right.
Julius. Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah.
Mr. McFluffenstuff.
Okay.
Gentile. And we did the intro. We told the people who we are, but we skipped a very important part.
No, we didn't skip it.
We did skip it.
We didn't.
I finished my drink from last episode. Because we do 2 episodes at a time, if you guys didn't know. But I still have my sparkling ice, black raspberry. I don't know. It's kind of early in the week now for adult beverages.
I just wasn't feeling it tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Had a long day, so I don't know, just wasn't feeling it.
I'm
so
telling you, it's the weather.
Sip on my zero sugar soda over
Diet
here.
Coke still from Taco Bell. We had our Taco Bell discussion. We won't do that again. But I still have my black raspberry, and it's Ruth's favorite time. I think she's going to join me this time.
We could have just not done this.
No, we got to do this. And 3, 2, 1.
In other news, how do you know it? How do you know a dad joke's a dad joke?
Oh Jesus! Go ahead.
When it becomes apparent.
There you go. There she is.
There I am.
Yep. She likes that one. That's
my
good.
Favorite one. I only know 2.
We're converting you. Yep. Do you know why thermometers go to school?
No.
To earn their degrees.
Wow.
Yay! We're here.
There we go. You get 1.
No,
you get 1. That's
I get a wow. That helps me. I got 1 last episode, maybe twice, and then I got 1 this episode. We're off to a good start.
Off to a good start.
So, officially, we are around the Kinky Campfire. We are here to discuss non-monogamy, kink, BDSM, and a little bit of geek. We're growing geek out of everybody. Getting more geeky. So anime?
No.
Talk about anime?
I don't want to talk about anime. No, I don't.
We are here to destigmatize which is taboo. Literally trying to go out there and educate the people. Me, it's awareness. I don't know. Did you talk about how you want to do it?
No, I mean, I'm very education driven. So I'm here to try to be a resource or at least spark some conversation with whoever's listening. So...
Yeah. And we talked about it. I think it was the first episode of last month or something like that. Our first We're Back episode. But I'm just here to give the facts. I understand everybody has opinions, but I want to give the facts in person. So if you see me around, I'm doing that. I might get some opinion on this podcast because it's our podcast. So you'll get my opinions here. But I am all about education through awareness. I like my big old podium. I'm just going to give it out there. You do what you want with it. You can go and research all you want, campsters. But we are here through education. Presses. And we're making it not taboo, not stigmatizations, not
just making up words.
Not
now?
Weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Been making up words.
Okay.
Make up names
sure.
too. Make
you
up
do
words,
you.
names.
You do you.
But today, Rue decided that she wants to talk about reality versus fiction. So I understand you've talked about this subject before?
Yeah, a little bit. It's actually becoming more popular, the difference between the reality of kink and BDSM and the fiction of it, or the perception of it, I would say. So
Yeah.
Right? So let's start with you. You know, what's the first thing that you were faced with, you know, when you were faced with this is the reality of it. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Or I came into something kink related thinking it was one way, and this is the reality is completely different.
Oh yeah, yeah. My reality, my first thing. All men are in charge. All women want to be submissive. That's it. That's it, right?
That was your fantasy.
No, that's how it was. Mine was through porn, like most people.
Oh yeah, through porn.
Yeah, that's how it was when I was in high school.
What's the reality?
That's not true.
Oh, really?
Is it true?
No.
It's not true?
It's not true.
What do you mean?
I know. Shocker.
I thought all women wanted to be tied up and fucked in all the different orifices.
Not true.
No?
No.
Dick in the mouth?
No.
Regular thing? Suck it like a lollipop?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Men and men, women and women is just not a thing. Right? No? No? Yes?
You're driving me nuts.
I know. That's the whole point. I am the noob, okay? I am one of the masses, okay? Gertie McFluff and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I stick my dick in there and all women love it.
No.
No.
Not reality.
Okay. What happens? Because that's what porn taught me.
Well, no. So I guess the biggest myth to that is, you know, kink and BDSM is as unique as the people who do it. You know, there is no, it doesn't have to conform into any box. It's all related to the individuals who have an interest in it. You know, kinky, it's a spectrum. It's a wide girth of all the in between. You know, it can be you like to be spanked in the bedroom by your partner, to you want to hang from meat hooks and have a, you know, out of body experience. I mean, it can be from, I like being told what to do and I like the, you know, giving up authority of aspects to my life, to I just like my partner to pick out like a favorite color they want me to wear, or, you know, there is, the only wrong way to do this is when it is abusive and not consensual between the people that are doing it.
You mean I can't just go to somebody and be like, do whatever you want to me? Is that not the right
You
way
can, but you shouldn't. And see, and that's a big thing with this. Whew. Sweating over here. Yeah, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. We can always do a lot of things, but it doesn't mean you should do them.
I should change my name to Anonymous Throwaway. That's the
if that's your kink, then you ride that.
No, that's the
that.
Official, unofficial.
Just make sure you know what you're asking for.
No, that's the official, unofficial Redditor account is Anonymous Throwaway. Mm. This is the first thing. This is a throwaway account. It's like, you're on Reddit. Nobody knows who you are. Like, why are we doing this? I don't understand. So I had a Dom guy hit me up, and he just, you know, told me that I have to submit for him, and then I should just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Should I go meet him at his house?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. You should not.
No?
No.
I was
It
talking.
sounds hot in theory, but no, you should not just go meet a random person you met on the internet at their house to do kinky BDSM things. No.
Side note, I'm having so much fun right
now. Over here sweating.
We need a camera. Anyways, so I'm a guy.
Okay.
I'm a virgin.
Okay.
And I was talking to this lady. It's very cis heteronormative.
Yes,
but
it is.
That's how I see on Reddit a lot. She told me to give her some money.
Okay. I mean, are you into that?
I don't know. I'm a virgin.
Well, virgin has nothing to do with femdom. I mean, it's
What's
just
femdom? She just told me to give her money.
Okay, but is that what you signed up for? Is that what you went looking for?
I don't know.
Well, then how did you find her?
I'm Anonymous Throwaway. I'm on Reddit. I'm asking questions. I don't know.
You don't know.
If
you don't know, then I can't help you.
What? This is what Reddit's for. I need you to make decisions for me. Is it ethical?
We're talking ethics now. Now we're talking ethics.
I don't even know what they mean when they say that. Oh, God, it's so hard to keep this character up. What does that mean? On a side tangent, on a serious side tangent. If somebody makes a post and they say, is this ethical?
Well, what's ethical to you? What's ethical to the society that you live in? What's ethical to the social normities of which you operate in? What's ethical? Because what's ethical to you might not be what's ethical to me. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's different.
That's not the answer I'm looking for.
Well,
I'm anonymous throwaway. What is ethical?
That's probably why I'm not on Reddit.
But see, here's the thing about Reddit, too. I'm pretty sure it's like one of the only ways people can ask these questions, like in a public forum. And then they can be anonymous as well when they do that. I don't get what that means. I wish somebody would answer somewhere. I yell at my phone. What does it mean to be ethical? They ask a group of random people on the internet, is it ethical?
Well,
my husband.
I mean, I think the answer to your question is first the fact that they asked a bunch of random people on the internet.
Yeah. Polyamory subreddit. My husband met his coworker and he's attracted to her. Now he wants me to sleep with her.
Wait a minute, I thought he was attracted to her. Why do you have to sleep with her?
Is this ethical?
I wasn't the one attracted to her. You were. What's that got to do with anything?
I don't know.
Okay. So
I don't understand. This is why we're here. We have to educate the people.
On ethics?
They keep asking, is it ethical? I don't know what they mean. Educate me. What do they mean when they say that?
Well, what they're asking you to do is to justify their bad behavior. They're looking for anybody out there that is willing to justify whatever bad decision that they know that they're going to make so that they can blame the repercussions on somebody else. Bottom line, that's what people who go out there and ask those kinds of questions to random strangers that have absolutely no dog in their race.
That's what I want to yell at my phone. It's like, why? Am I the asshole? Yes, you're the asshole.
If somebody really wanted the answers to some of these questions, then they would read a book or they would go somewhere besides Reddit to look for the answers. They would do research. They would get counseling. They would find somebody who lives in this lifestyle. They would do so many other things besides Reddit.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Miss Rue,
Uh-huh.
I live in a place where there's not a lot of kink stuff going on.
That happens.
It's a very remote area
It
of
is.
town.
I've done the same.
I have to go to Reddit. That's my only place.
It is not.
What do I do?
Well, see, it's not your only place. If you have access to the internet to find Reddit, then you have access to the internet to find legitimate local things or legitimate education to help you make more informed decisions.
And then I know a place, but I'm too shy. I don't know anybody.
Well, I don't know. I can't fix that for you.
That's not.
I can't fix that for you.
You gotta give an answer or something to the podcast. You gotta give your opinion. What
My
should they
opinion?
do? Yeah.
Network. Go to a munch. Don't go to a play space as your very first time going to something.
The
Go
munch
to a
is
munch.
too intimidating.
A munch, a sports bar, a restaurant, Applebee's is too intimidating for you?
It's public, yeah.
It's public. Well, then network with the local people online first and get to know them. See if they have a Discord. See if there is a website like FetLife that will connect people in local communities. Network with them. See if there's events other than play spaces or a restaurant.
You mentioned FetLife. Is that hookup site?
No, it is not a hookup site. Oh my gosh. So glad we don't have a camera on us right now. FetLife is the equivalent of like kinky Facebook.
Oh, okay.
It's a place where people can go in and create profiles about themselves. They can explore different kinks and likes and dislikes. They can find education remotely that is through different platforms remotely, or they can find them in person in their local communities. They can find conventions. They can find munches. They can find a whole mess of things. Yes.
Like the OnlyFans model that wants me to subscribe to her channel?
Well, then if you think she's hot, you should.
That's all she has on her profile.
Well, maybe that's what she's there for. I'm not going to kink shame. Make your money.
Yes. It's always funny going on FetLife after all these years, and people are like, "This is still a hookup site." And it's like, do you not see the events tab right at the top of the page?
Not a dating site. No, the problem is there was like I think a magazine article, or there was something that came out in the last couple of years. It was just talked about. I can't remember where, but named FetLife as a dating site.
Mm-hmm.
So it got inundated by a bunch of people that went on there. And it is not a dating site. Now, have there been relationships that have developed because they have met through FetLife? Yes. But it is not designed or operated as a dating website.
Kinky Facebook with all kinds of stuff. There is an event tab right at the top with events in your local area for the people. And I wish I could just say, I wish I could just generalize, but they're not going to bite unless you ask, but I can't say that. But
you hope they don't. They shouldn't.
They shouldn't. Yeah, let's say what they shouldn't do. Okay, they shouldn't shame you for coming in. They shouldn't shame you for being newer to the thing. They shouldn't not be nice and invite you into the area and give you resources and stuff like that.
And it's also a place like we started out the conversation with the whole fantasy versus reality. You know, there is fantasy in this. There are people who write fiction and people who elaborate stories and storylines and characters, and it's all hot. And there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of the platforms came about from chat groups and things like that. But this is people's lives. There is a reality base to this. This isn't a made-up dimension or hemisphere or subset of people that only exist in books.
Yeah, it's it seems so funny that you said last episode, like, are we doing this right now? And putting this presentation out in front of people. It's like, yeah, I can spank this person and they enjoy it.
Yes.
And then they get turned on later, and we have sex because of it.
And you don't have to have sex. You can just enjoy being spanked.
Exactly. And then they show their bruises to people, and they're proud of their bruises.
They are.
And it's like, this is happening right now. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, man, I triggered myself with my own anonymous throwaway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, okay, here's the sad reality part of it is... The Reddit people will not get off of Reddit and go to YouTube. The YouTube people will not get off of YouTube and go to the podcast. The podcast people will not get off the podcast and go on FetLife or wherever. It's just, and I'm just going to be general the whole time because I can't stop and talk about the specifics, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of
people get comfortable in the lane that they're successful in.
Yes.
And so why would you step out of a very successful lane into something that you're not comfortable with? I get that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And it takes some people willing to step across. Like, I live this. This is my life, right? I have been living this for a long time now. And I have stepped out of my comfort zone, like we talked about in the last episode, and gone to book conventions. I would have never thought of that on my own. You know, that's not something I would have been like, I wonder if I would be invited to a book convention. Let me find out. No, I mean, it all just happened, and now I love it, and I wouldn't go back, and it's crossing that bridge between lines that, you know, really haven't had bridges before. It's no different. I think that there's a lot of platforms that people get a following on. So why would they go outside their platform? What do they have to gain from going?
You're talking about creators or
creators, like people who do material or, you know, are very, very into, we keep picking on it, but, you know, Reddit, or people who are on YouTube and have YouTube followings. If they actually have followings for what they're doing, why would they cross bridges? You know, they are becoming successful where they're at. So I get people like their comfort zone. We all have them. We all have our comfort zones. It just, Why would this be any different?
Which part? Creating or
both?
ingesting?
As a creator, we all have our comfort zones. Like in the last episode, we were talking about what's your go-to order. What's your favorite thing? If somebody, you go to a restaurant, you order the same thing a lot of time, right? You pick up, you go to a bookstore, you have a favorite genre. If you watch a movie, you have a favorite genre. If you talk on a podcast, it's usually themed. There's sport podcasts. There's, fiction. There's politics. There's religion. There's education. There's all sorts of things. So why? And we create our own comfort zone. So you're talking about how, like, the Reddits won't talk to the people on podcast, and podcast doesn't talk to YouTube. Why not? Like they don't, because they're embedded within their comfort zone, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, the people that ingest the information as well. Usually people stick to their something, not just the creators.
I mean, I would rather, I'm guilty of that. I would rather, listen to a podcast than read a Reddit. I would rather listen to a podcast than search things up on YouTube. YouTube still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm not a YouTube person. There's so much about it that I don't understand. I'll admit it, I don't understand it. I'm old. So I go to my comfort zone, To me, podcasts are kind of no different than books on tape, and I've grown up with books on tape, like audiobooks. So it's where I'm comfortable getting my stuff. So I naturally gravitate towards that. So I think it's as long as you take the time to find the reality of whatever it is you're looking for to blend in with your fantasy or not. Some people just like the fantasy of things. They don't want the reality. You can read, fantasy books, but that doesn't mean you actually want to engage in the things. It's the idea of the fantasy. It's your getaway. It's an escape.
Yeah. So to bring it way back, you've talked about your history before. What, and I know for you, it was kind of more reality type stuff. So this is kind of a different question. What caused you to walk over that threshold of reality, seeing what was real and what wasn't back in the before times?
Well, I didn't see anything fake. I didn't have kink books to read or smut books to read. I had the in-person experiences. Mm-hmm. And so, I had magazines that I sought out once I experienced the real thing. I went behind the curtains at the video stores and actually started looking at the porn and started looking at magazines that were published in regards to this. I'd always known what like Playboy was and Hustler and stuff like that, but that's like as like edgy as I knew growing up. So I kind of came into it backwards, where I was doing things in person and having life experiences before I knew anything about the fantasy aspect of things. So I think I come at it from a very unique. I sought out the fantasy after I already knew the reality of it.
Okay, and then what brought you back to reality?
Well, I never left it.
Okay.
I just learned how to incorporate it. I'd read the fantasy and be like, that's fucking cool. I want to try that. And then you meet the person you can try it with, and you try it. That was not the same in reality, or that was even better in person, depending on what it is, And so then you're like, okay, that worked or that didn't work. You go out and you learn something else new or read about something else. And then the internet's opened up and you could research more things that people were doing or not doing or saying they were doing. Try it and keep going.
What do you remember the one thing that was like an example of that, where you was like, that's the fantasy, and you tried a reality, like the one thing you like ingrained in your mind that stuck with you?
Oh my God, that was a long time ago. I want to say, okay, so the reality of being in a dynamic was different than the fantasy of being in a dynamic.
Can you be specific?
So when I started everything, I subscribed to to go back to the joke that you made at the beginning of the podcast about all men are in charge and all women are submissive.
What are you talking about? That was a joke.
But that was my experience. It was understood that if you were a guy, you were dominant. If you were a woman, you were submissive. So in my mind, okay, I must be a submissive. I must be, and back then the words top and bottom weren't used in hetero circles, right?
Yep.
And so you only had dominant and submissive. That's all you knew. Those are the only words you knew, right? And so I was like, okay, well, I must be submissive. And so I always played as a bottom. I never really had any power exchange or authority exchange until way later in my journey. And the very first time that I met a dominant, somebody who identified as a dominant, the reality of being in a dynamic was extremely different than the fantasy of being in a dynamic. The reality of somebody having, authority over you, over what you did, over aspects of your life.
Talk about the fantasy and then talk about the reality.
Well, the fantasy of it is like, oh, well, it's hot, right? The fantasy is it's hot to be told what to do. It turns you on to have your decisions made for you. And, you're wearing this underwear because he told you to. Just any number of things, right? That's all the fantasy. The reality of it is I ain't got time to wait on your damn text message so I know what underwear to wear today. The reality is, I'm hungry and I don't want to have to wait for your permission to eat. The reality is I have to pee and I have to use the restroom and I don't have time to wait for your permission. The reality is there's a lot of realities that don't necessarily match up with fantasy. The reality of you still have to be a functioning adult and work a job and have a boss at your job, or sometimes you have to raise kids and it's not always glamorous, and you don't always walk around and kneel every time they want you to. And it's part of my skewed view is probably because I was never submissive to begin with. I was horrible at it.
Oh yeah? You remember when that switch flipped finally?
No, I don't know that it was a final switch. I think it was a series of events that flipped a lot of switches for me. Now as a dominant, when I do engage with somebody who is interested in a dynamic or wants that authority exchange with me, I'm very upfront about the whole reality versus fantasy. And almost to the point to where, potential partners have looked at me and been like, well, you just don't seem strict enough, or like you're not giving enough guidelines, or you're not giving enough answers. And I'm like, because life is real. You're going to wake up one day and, have a stomach flu. You're going to wake up one day and traffic's going to make you late for work, or work's going to be horrible, or there's going to be a death in the family, or there's going to be something that is beyond your control that is going to affect your life. And I would rather deal with the reality of what a dynamic can do within that uncontrolled environment than try to micromanage so that it doesn't account for things that you can't control. And when I start putting it like that and start, because you can what if everything. Well, what if this or what if that? You can't what if every scenario that you're ever going to come across. But what you can do is keep certain things simple so that no matter what you come across, you still have a basic foundation that your dynamic can operate and maneuver within. Sometimes it can be very casual and very relaxed because it needs to be, or sometimes you can ramp it up and it can be more strict and more structured because the time has allowed for it. And I would rather live in that aspect of a dynamic than to constantly force the fantasy of what you think it should be within the realms of reality that it doesn't fit in.
Yeah, and keeping up that fantasy is so tiring. It's like when you get a new partner, it's like you're gonna fart.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, I mean, it's just you gotta live through it. So for the people that haven't jumped in, it's, I mean, you just gotta experience it. There's no way to like prepare yourself, and it's like, especially my generation and every generation that came after it, everybody wants to get all the answers before they actually do the thing, and it's like you can't do that.
Sometimes the answers only come from experience.
That too. You're not gonna know like what do you want. Asking a bunch of random people, not to harp on Reddit, but people just do this in general. They always want to know, oh yeah, what do you want to look for before I do this thing? It's like, I don't know. What's your experience? Go try it first. I mean, nobody's gonna die.
You can
hopefully.
Always, with trusted people that you negotiate with, right? It's always the things I'm saying is always with the caveat is it's with trusted people that you have built a rapport with, that you have negotiated and you have consent to do these things with, right? You don't have to dive into any dynamic, head first, all or nothing. You can say, hey, this coming weekend on Friday night, can we try these things and make it an authority exchange. I'm going to have control over these aspects of what you do that night, and then make it a scene, have it a definitive start, a definitive stop, and then after action it, get together the next day and be like, what did you like? What didn't you like? What did you expect? Was there anything that came up that you didn't see coming? How do you think you'd like to handle it? Ease into it. There's no written rule that says that you have to jump in all or nothing with dynamics. You can treat them like scenes. And then when it worked really well and you figured out different things that happen, then maybe do it for a whole weekend, and then maybe do it for a week, or do it for a month, or just do it for very small itty bitty little things. It doesn't.
Yeah, and also
that's the biggest reality versus fiction, or reality versus fantasy right there, is it doesn't have to always be all or nothing.
And it doesn't always have to be perfect either. And like, even if you decide to
you're going to mess up.
Yeah, you're going to mess up, and then you can call it early and then try again later. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand the thing of people like, and this is super generalized, but people are afraid to fail, and then they think it's like, oh, that was terrible, let's not do it again. It's like, but you've never done it before.
Yeah.
You got to try again. You don't know what you like. Mm-hmm. Or they get into a situation and a dynamic, and then, those pesky feelings get in there. Mm-hmm. It's like, I feel like this. It's like, well, have a conversation with whoever you're with, and you have those feelings, but doesn't mean it's always going to be that way.
Yeah. The reality of a dynamic is a dynamic does not fix a relationship. And having a dynamic, just because you negotiate and have consent within the dynamic, doesn't mean that it is set up to be perfect or fail-proof. You're still going to have life situations. You're still going to have emotions. You're still going to have past experiences in your life that are going to come within the different scenarios that are presented within your dynamic. And the dynamic itself is, while it's designed properly, hopefully designed to set up the foundation of what you guys are doing, it doesn't mean that it 100% protects it from anything that can make it fail. If anything, one of the things that we brag about in this lifestyle is our ability to communicate. We communicate about everything. We over communicate. We talk about consent. We negotiate. We don't play without doing these things. Mm-hmm. Everything involves a conversation, and we brag about this more, that we have better communication skills, more adapted communication skills than, say, vanilla people do, people who don't engage in kink or BDSM or non-monogamy or any of those things.
At least for the first 9 to 15 years of their marriage, and then they come out as kinky or poly or something.
Yeah, and so even though we have those communication skills, it doesn't mean that we still don't have to talk about things as they come up. It just means that we have to build that into what we do. And you have to be smart enough to know that an established dynamic, an established set of boundaries or rules or protocols or rituals that you set up within, with your partner, doesn't negate the fact that things are still going to come up that have to be talked about.
And Jesus, it's so difficult because you can't teach common sense. Unfortunately, so people are like
experience is the teacher of common sense.
Man, it's just so crazy. People just don't want to go out there. You have to be able to calibrate. And even like growing up, you get taught, you're in school, you get taught math, science, history, reading, all that stuff, but you don't have any experience with the real world, like relationships and stuff like that. Nobody teaches you.
True. I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree.
You disagree,
you
but
sit in a room with 30 people that you didn't choose to sit in a room with, taught by somebody that you didn't choose to be in charge of you. You learn how to build relationships and how to work with people. You learn how to adapt to your environment.
Some people go through and they just kind of like muddle their way through school. And
I
then
didn't say that they learned well, but you do learn skills. You learn social skills in school.
Yeah, you learn something. But even with that, my point being is that you're not taught this stuff. Like even with dating and just with dating, that's like a normal thing that most people do. But the stuff we do, there's no school for this.
No. But there's education.
Now there's education.
Right. Well, there was, okay, no, wait a minute.
Also,
there was
it's not
always, wait a minute. Even when I started in this lifestyle 30 years ago, okay, let's put the number to it. I started kinking 30 years ago, okay? Even then, there was education.
Yes.
I didn't say it was in the same form as what they have now. It wasn't as readily available. The internet didn't even exist. But there was, or the internet was just existing, but there was education in the form of interpersonal experiences, porn, magazines, books, all of those. It might not be what we consider to be factual, realistic expectation, but it still doesn't mean that, or education, but it still doesn't mean that it's not education.
Well, okay, so let me can I finish?
I'm just saying.
So yes, there's that. But my point is, if I want to go be a doctor,
right?
How do I find out I want to be a doctor? It's out there. If I want to be a professional dominant, you know, it's not just out there. You have to go seek it. So that's what I'm saying. Education is out there, but my point is you have to go seek it to find out where it's at. So it's not
brought to you as a child.
Yeah, it's not readily available. So the fact that people just don't want to go out and experience and have a mistake, it's like we're not taught this stuff, quote unquote. So it's like you're going to have a mistake. Go out there and try it. That's the reality, is you're going to fuck up.
Well, I mean, the first time you cooked eggs, they weren't perfect.
Exactly. First time you rode a bike, you fell down. It's like people just want to like sit there and get all this information. It's like, I understand you're listening to a podcast. We're giving you information. But it's like you're going to have to at some point go out there and try it if you want to. I'm just saying there's people that don't even want to have sex. There's people out there. But I'm saying if you want to try it, there's nothing stopping you but you. We're giving you information in this podcast. There are going to be people that have the privilege of it being easier than others.
Not all areas have local dungeons. Not all areas have local play spaces open to the public. We're not saying that it's at your doorstep. There are going to be regions of this country, even of the world, where this stuff isn't necessarily readily available in person.
That for food too.
I mean, in person, they might have to work a little harder, but it's the ability to find it is significantly easier than it was 30 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Yeah, you have to make the effort. But I mean, you could even talk about higher education in general. Some people have it easier than others. But yeah, life sucks. It's unfair, yada, yada, yada. If you want to do this, you have to go out there. That's probably the, I haven't talked about like the fantasy versus reality for me, but that was, I don't remember when it happened. This part anyway. It's like the part that the reality is it's not going to come to me at my door. I can't just like Instacart a
I can't,
bottom
I
person
can't
that's just
Instacart
into
is
all.
submissive.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a new trend.
I wish.
DoorDash is submissive.
Even with the internet, you can't just put all your stuff on the internet and then somebody's just like, "Hey, I got all this stuff too. Let's get it. Let's get cracking." It's like,
well, I mean, it's becoming more popular. There's actual, there's dating websites that are geared more towards, non-monogamy, kinky,
but
alternative lifestyle.
As you've experienced, as
they're
well,
horrible. They're there.
There's the privilege of some people where they could just put like 5 lines on there and then their inbox gets blown up. There's other of us that have to put a lot of like years and years of work into making the perfect profile for this to happen. But even with that, you can put yourself out there and you're still going to have to go and do that. That was probably
I think
that
in this, the biggest reality of this lifestyle is experience is going to be your teacher.
Yeah. It's just, it's crazy to me that people think they just put themselves out there. Why am I not getting this? It's like, you got to go out there. You can't just sit behind your computer all day. Do you think somebody's just going to walk up to your door and knock on it and be like, "Hey, spank my ass"? It's like, not gonna happen. And then people I haven't gotten any replies.
Like singing telegrams.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any replies and messages. People. It's like, have you gone to a public event? Well, no. It's like, change something. Try something different after all this time. Like, go out and do something. But yeah, so I don't know. Well, no, I did get my background. But yeah, quickly started with porn. And then I finally found a partner that was more sexually free in my vanilla life. So got to do some stuff there with the minimal toys that I had because I was a teenager, getting ready to be an adult. But yeah, the porn was like, okay, people don't smell because I'm watching it on TV, and you get into real life and it's like, oh, this air conditioning's a thing and outdoor stuff is a thing. It's like, oh god, there's all different kinds of
reality
smells.
Versus fantasy. You want to know like the biggest one of my this sticks out in my head. Oh my gosh, I learned this lesson when I was 18 or 19, something of that. Like it's a blur.
People
Probably like 18. No, like sex on the beach. Not all it's cracked up to be. Sand gets in places sand shouldn't be. It is not smooth. There is no gliding anywhere, and nothing can save you because so the whole the picturesque where they're rolling around in the sand and passionate lovemaking. That's
People talk about having sex in water.
That's not fun either.
I've had mixed reviews.
It's difficult
because I've had sex in a pool and it was fine.
Really?
In the water, yeah.
I think it's a difference between chlorinated and salt water.
Maybe.
Depends on how they filter their pool water.
Maybe. I didn't hear anything bad, like, chemically bad afterwards. So it could have been that. It was an open air pool, and I'm pretty sure it was salt water. But yeah, there's.
But so there's a lot of fantasies out there.
The whatchamacallit, everything functioned correctly as it should. Mm-hmm. So that part was good in the pool.
Take it from me, it sounds hot, but you don't want to have sex in the sand.
There's all different kinds of stuff. But yeah, so yeah, vanilla girlfriends, yada yada yada, made it to FetLife, and then I got on FetLife, and I'm like, these people are doing stuff that I saw in porn, but it's like real life.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before reality porn was a thing too.
Yeah.
So it was like people
like what they consider amateur porn or
all that stuff. Well, you had the fake reality stuff going on, like the realtor showing the house, and then you're gonna
role playing.
Yeah, before the streaming and stuff became a thing, you still had to pay for that kind of stuff. But what did it for me was I moved to a different area. I didn't know anybody, so that finally just killed me because I'm like, I'm so bored. I have to break through this because I too get nervous going to new places, and
I still get nervous walking into a space I don't know.
And also, the other reality for me specifically was my demographic going into a place where I was in a minority again.
Mm-hmm.
Was another thing for me because I'm like, I have friends from school, high school and college, that are more of my culture, but they're not into this. that I'm into.
Right.
I even like practiced and floated out stuff, and it's like, no, that's just not what we're into. And it's like, I'm not like these people. So it was a whole thing of moving to a different area, and I'm like, I'm not going to fall back into that again, because that was miserable for me, having to hide a part of myself. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be
authentic.
token.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be a token.
Oh, well, true.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to have to do that again. And having been in an area where AP classes, being a minority in there, and it's like, and then getting the friends that I had, I was like, okay, this is kind of something I wanted, but it's like, these people don't have the same values as me. You know what? I'm just going to make my own identity. So I decided I can't take it anymore. I got to be authentic, and I just got to suck it up, and this is what I got to deal with. So when I say that, I'm speaking to the people of my culture that have issues, the POCs and stuff, that have issues going to non-POC areas, which is always funny to me, because I've always been the POC in the non-POC areas. It's just something I took in with polyamory now, and then kink back then. It's like, I just knew that was going to be a thing. So I just never thought about it that much. But I just couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I got to be in a different situation. Let me go ahead and try this. So I'm trying to put myself back in that time, and it was, oh man, I'm getting nervous and like sweaty thinking about it. My first time walking into an actual munch, and like the people going in were like, nobody, like 10 years older than I am. Clearly you could tell they were married and wearing leather and stuff. And I was like, I'd never been around these people before. I've seen them in certain places, but I'm going to be part of this group now. And I will just say, you know, I don't know if I had a good experience overall compared to most people, but all the people I met were nice. And I never once felt like segregated, I guess I should say. There was a clear difference that people knew about, but it was never not accepting. Everybody was nice. So I will just say, like, being POC in those spaces, I never felt ousted. So I don't get what I mean, it was a different area, but it's like, I never really felt that. So it's interesting to hear those stories now about the different experiences people have. But I just accepted that. That was part of the thing. So I went out and just broke in and had fun. And I went through many ups and downs throughout my time in the kink spaces. And then I came across polyamory just randomly through the kink spaces. And it took me a couple years to go through there. And it's like, the fantasy is like, oh yeah, we're just going to have orgies and all kinds of stuff.
Which you can.
I mean,
Which you can. There are spaces for that. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I'm just thinking now. There's just, speaking of reality, just hearing stories of people's friends that go to the lifestyle places, and just unprotected sex is still a thing with random people. I don't understand that. But yeah, you should always be using protection if you random people, just as a side note. But yeah, it's wild to me. It's like people that smoke. I don't understand. Like, why are you still smoking after all this time? We've had all these different commercials and stuff, but people still smoke. So yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, and I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but my point is, polyamory, as well as kink, was new for me. The fantasy quickly became reality. It's like, oh, Google Calendar is a thing that you need to use.
Yes.
That's an actual thing.
That's an actual thing.
Yeah. So depending on what kind of polyamory you have, just, you know, give it a try. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, give it a try. The point is, go out there and do something. That's the reality. You're going to make a mistake. You have to go out there. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that with everything. Like, people want to differentiate by all the different things, but you have to go out and try and see if it's for you. You're not going to be able to ask a group of people and then them tell you what you like.
Yes.
Not,
Well, and just because, because you walk into this space, you walk into the munch, you walk into the play space, you walk into the meet and greet, whatever it is that you are walking into, doesn't mean that you have to have all of the answers when you do it. If people come up, it's very common in this lifestyle for somebody to come up, hi, what's your name? Well, some people use their legal names, and some people use what we call C names. C names are, it's not everybody's comfortable using their legal names. And so if that is you, if you are more comfortable with a persona, then, like, I go by Rue. Rue is obviously not my legal name. It feels like it should be at this point. I've had it for so long,
Mm-hmm.
but then if that makes you more comfortable to have a name that you go by, that so that you can, compartmentalize your life a little bit to make it a little easier, a little less nerve-wracking, then come up with a really cool scene name. Some people use their gamer names, going back to the geek thing. Some people use the name of their favorite character in a book, favorite character in a movie. There's a variety of different ways that people pick their names. And then another common question after is, hi, what's your name? Sometimes they'll ask you, how do you identify? Or when you walk into the space, they'll give you a name tag and they'll have different little stickers that you can, like, I identify as a dominant. I'm a switch. I'm, a top. I'm a bottom. I'm a submissive. It's okay if you don't put any dots on your name tag. It's okay for you to walk in and go, hi, my name is Rue, and this is the first event I've ever gone to. I'm not quite sure what's going on yet. That is okay. You will find that you'll get more support and more guidance by saying that than if you try to be like, hi, my name is Rue, and I identify as, here's the list of 15 things that I identify as. And then sometimes that's overwhelming for everybody that you just introduced yourself to, because they're like, holy shit, I don't know what to do with that. Okay, hi. I'm just going to call you Rue. So it's okay, when you're talking about stepping out and actually doing something, it's okay to not have all the answers. You shouldn't have all the answers. You don't even know all the questions yet. And it's okay. Because you went, you showed up, you grabbed a bite to eat, you had a drink, you socialize, you listen to a lot of people talk, a lot of people still tell stories, and then you go home and you digest it and you think about it, and then you maybe heard some words that you had never heard before, so you look them up and start doing some research. And then the next month or whenever the next event is, you can go back again, and guess what? People are going to recognize you. They're going to remember you. Hi, oh, it's good to see you back again. That's how it happens. You don't have to walk into a space identifying in any kind of certain way. You don't have to go into a space knowing all the answers. You're not going to walk in and be asked to teach a class. You're not going to walk in and be asked to immediately, hey, can I bend you over my knees and spank you? That's, again, reality versus fantasy. You might read that that's how it happens in books, but Applebee's is still just Applebee's. Sports bars are still just sports bars. Go to a munch, find a local munch, go to munches online. They have virtual munches. Find a virtual munch where people are getting on a Zoom call together and just talking and just networking and just socializing, and you're sitting in your own home, comfort of your own home, on Zoom or whatever platform they use, and meet people that way and dip your toes in the water that way, so that you can start having those conversations and having people that you can ask questions to, that you can put a face to. Doesn't mean you'll ever meet them. You might not, but at least it's a way to engage with the reality of what you might be interested in.
Yeah, go in and you perfectly fine to say, I'm new, I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. And then, like Rue was saying with the name, as a geek, 100%, I will just say that freedom of expression and positivity in general, not just body positivity, but freedom to express yourself. A lot of people like role play now. They say, the kids like to role play. So embellish the name that you come up for yourself. And then, if you've ever wanted to dress that way, I, pretty much identify as a man, but I like wearing skirts. Mm-hmm. I, go out there and I have my nails painted. Everybody's very cool with you doing that, and then
you'd be
expressing
surprised
yourself.
How many people don't notice.
Yeah.
I mean, they see it, but it's not significant. It's not the thing that they'll remember about you.
Yeah. So even, we know people that for years they go by themselves, they hang out by themselves, and they just hang out. Mm-hmm. That's perfectly fine. Wear regular clothes, wear whatever clothes you want to wear. Be naked in most spaces. You can do that
not
too.
Applebee's. Please don't be naked in Applebee's.
I said both spaces, whatever. Anyways, there are spaces where you can be naked. My point is,
I'm just saying.
just taking me literally. My point is, if there's a spaces allowed and you always wanted to be naked, you can do that too. So feel free to just chill. You don't have to do anything. You can just come as you are and be comfortable in that. You can literally go there for years and do nothing. Mm-hmm. Barely have to speak.
I know people that are local to me, and they attend munches, random different ones. They explore different munches, and that's it. They just like being in the environment where they hear the talk, they hear the stories. They can let their guard down. They can be in an environment that is still a restaurant, still out in public, still vanilla. And they've never been in a play space, but we all know who they are, and they're all part of our community, and they have found their niche and their comfort level, and they live in it, and nobody thinks any different. And we notice them when they're not there. Mm-hmm. We're like, oh, I wonder where so-and-so is. Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard from them.
Yep. So, yeah. This just is crazy. People have the thing. Yeah, so here at Around the Kinky Campfire, we're here to let you know that you can just go and do nothing. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the stereotype of having to be walked in and people are going to gang bang you or something. Where
fantasy.
did that?
It's a hot fantasy. I'm just saying. I mean, the fantasies are hot, but
I'm gonna tell y'all right now that the pursuit, the random kidnapping fantasy is out there, and people have that. The reality is, you got to plan that shit for like 6 months ahead of time. All right, everybody has to get on a calendar. There's going to be multiple group chats and in-person meetings of how it's going to go down.
The surprise factor might still be there for you. You're not going to know. You're going to know what's
there's
going to happen.
There's a window though.
This and this.
All right, so I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to break that down right now. The reality is, I'm talking loud right into the thing.
You're right into it.
I'll back up just a little bit. But it's like, you would never realize it's the capture. I forgot what it's called.
Kidnapping,
the kidnapping scene. It takes 6 months of planning. I'm just going to tell you, I haven't been part of it, but I know the details of a few kidnapping scenes during my time, and the reality of it is like it's planned to hell, and people leave and people come back, so you have to tell those people. Like some people want to drop out, like people get uncomfortable in the middle, like all that stuff happens. That's the reality of it. If y'all really want, I'm gonna just shatter some bubbles right now. It's not just like, hey, I'm here and boom, just you just get fucked and then sent on your merry way. No, aftercare is a thing after a kidnapping scene. Just FYI, that's still a thing. That's planned as well. So we're getting close to an hour mark. We could talk forever about the reality. I haven't even talked about the queer stuff. So there's the demisexual stuff too. But as far as like kink and polyamory, and even I should say non-monogamy, because the swingers do it too. I've been into more swinger spaces right now, just like the kink spaces. You can go there. You don't have to have sex.
Nope.
I've done many things where I'm still fully clothed, quote unquote. Still got my underwear
legal.
on. No, not quite street legal.
Underwear's street legal.
Just wearing just underwear.
It's street legal. Yes.
I guess. Yeah, that would make me. Man, my butthole would sweat if I just walked out in underwear.
It's street legal.
Man, I would just be so nervous. Anyways, I'm not going to do that. But there are places where I've gone and kept my underwear on, walked around in my underwear, and didn't have sex. And then, most of the time I'm with a partner and we don't have sex, but a lot of people are having sex around me. You can just go and hang out, even in those spaces, sex positive spaces, non-sex positive spaces. You can just hang out. It's just, we got to shatter that fantasy there. Mm-hmm. That's the reality of the situation. You can just go and be yourself. Yeah. That's the number one lesson.
Absolutely. And nobody can do that better than you.
Exactly. No one can be you except for you. Yeah. I still feel for that lady that came downstairs and came out of her room, because I know so many people have that same thing going on. Just the reality of it is like, I'm sorry, nobody cares about. So many people got like so much going on. Like people are gonna look at me. It's like nobody even knows who you are. Mm-hmm. It's like, sorry, people don't care about you. Like nobody's gonna even remember that you're there. It's just the matter of fact of the whole thing. So might as well just go have fun. Make it cool. No, it doesn't even have to be cool. Just make up a name and, wear a cape if you want to.
There you go.
Put a mohawk wig on. I don't know, just random shit that I've always wanted to do.
You're losing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not losing it. It's good examples. You can wear what you want.
You can. You can
Like a
absolutely
diaper.
do that. Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay, fantasy versus reality. We're going to cut part 1. This is another one that's probably going to be added to the ongoing series list because we can just keep talking about it over and over again. But
yeah, I think it would be good if we did like a fantasy versus reality for like scenes. We could do one specifically for dynamics and dive a little deep into that. We can do one fantasy versus reality, relationships and dynamics.
yeah, we got to make some notes and,
Yeah.
got to plan that out. Get some hot talking points and stuff. So that's where Campsters, we're going to, get the cliff notes going on there and all that stuff. We'll get there eventually. But for now, we're just winging it, throwing at the wall. Hey, you know what? We're just trying it. Yeah. We're making mistakes along the way, and we're just doing it. It's like,
There you go.
this is typical podcast stuff. You do it. We don't know what we're doing, but we're trying. Fucking up. I'm nervous all the time. I don't know if y'all can tell, but every time I get ready to do a podcast, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too much work.
He's lying.
I'm not lying. I have feelings. And you'll hear about them next time. Remember, we have new episodes every second and fourth Thursday of the month. And then I forgot to plug the Instagram. It's Campfire Kinksters with K's at Instagram app or .com or however you decide to get to Instagram. Make sure you go on there and subscribe. Let us know what you're thinking. For our fans out there, you might see us. You'll see us next year at some point. Hopefully at some point in the year. Otherwise, come to Instagram, please. We like subscribers.
There you go.
Who are you?
This is Rue.
I'm forgot who my name is. Genty McFluff stuff, and
There you go.
that's what I do. I go out there and I stuff some fluff.
Wow.
Just whip it out. That's the fantasy. I
That's
go
the
in there and
fantasy.
everybody wants to suck my dick.
There we go.
Everybody wants to suck my dick.
End with some fantasy.
This is Around the Kinky Campfire.
Thanks for tuning in.